Burnout is not a badge of honor. And do you ever think about your nostrils? I'll be right back with today's show. Let's cultivate some conscious moments this morning. Good, glorious morning, everyone. We have YouTube this morning. Welcome. We got LinkedIn, reaching out to LinkedIn, and we also have TikTok live over here to my left. And I started off with burnout is not a badge of honor. It's a sign of dysfunction. I have a couple poems for you. I have something that is poetic about your nostrils, and it's going to weave together beautifully. And I wanted to start off with the burnout because I was reminded of the executive from Bed Bath and Beyond. And this gentleman, when Bed Bath and Beyond went out of business, this gentleman walked out of a luxury high rise and plummeted to his death. That's not positive news on a Friday, is it? No, but stay with this because I think this is a really important message that we can, not only can we burn ourselves out and run ourselves dry, but we're so attached to an identity that's not true to us. And I haven't done a full psychological analysis on this, but I would have to imagine that this gentleman, 52, worked his life hustling to get to this CFO spot with Bed Bath and Beyond. And then when Bed Bath & Beyond went under, he killed himself. Think about that. Like, that's pretty deep stuff right now. We may not be suffering with something as dramatic as that, but maybe we're somewhere in there where we're running ourselves dry, ragged to meet some identity that's not true to us. All right, let's jump in today. We'll let that marinate. And if you're in the live stream or the playback, just let me know you're here on this Friday. We're gonna let this percolate this morning like a nice cup of coffee. We're gonna let it percolate. My name is Austin James Haines. The names kind of changed with this show, but right now it's Meet Me in the Morning, Cultivate Conscious Moments. And that's what I want you to do right now, because I spent 19 years on a quota, and I retired in the middle of my best year to become a poet. For the full story, go over to YouTube at Austin James Haines and check out the video there. I talk about the full story. For now, take a breath, because I was always running. Take a breath through your nose. Through the nose, deep down, belly expands. And just allow that moment to pause. Your mind is hypervigilant because you have been programmed to chase and race, strive and drive ceaselessly. And most of us live in a state of fight or flight. Fight or flight. And we are chasing after money or something else. And that's called sympathetic nervous system. When you are in a state of fight or flight, your nervous system is charged like you're going to die. So could you imagine the stress level of this executive from Bed Bath & Beyond who just walked off a building to his death? He probably was living in a state of fight or flight to uphold an identity that he was linked to. He lost his true identity His identity was merged with, I'm a CFO at Bed Bath & Beyond. And when Bed Bath & Beyond went under, he went down with it. That's why it's so important. Like, this may not seem like a big deal, but to pause and breathe what you're doing, when you breathe deep, you're going from sympathetic to parasympathetic. And that is a conscious moment that it will change the moment, but it could change your life. It is that powerful. I've had people cry. I've had people pause, take a deep breath, and they cry. I've had people that weren't able to take a deep breath because they were so attached to their mode of operation. I've had people's lives change in a moment. And I had a show called Power of Pure Presence. It's actually on Roku. You can go check that out. I got the mug here today, Power of Pure Presence. And so this show is a combination of all the things that I've done. And let me just jump right in because I want to talk about the breath a little more. But if you jumped on here, take a breath. Just give yourself that gift to take a breath this morning. I know, but I got to do all these things and I got to hustle and I got to go and I got to. It's like your nervous system's already on high alert. And maybe you got yoga class later, but if your whole day is charged with stress, the yoga class, who cares? Like, we make this a practice. So let me share this with you. I picked up this book. It's called Breath by James Nestor. Best-selling book. Well over 200 pages, 220 some pages. He goes down into the deep of breath. But what I wanted to share with you today, I love this line right here. It's kind of poetic, so it fits. Calm, peace, breathe. Here we go. Few of us ever consider how the nostrils of every living person pulse to their own rhythm, opening and closing like a flower in response to our moods, mental states, and perhaps even the sun and the moon. Isn't that interesting? We just had the eclipse. So taking a moment to breathe. I'm too busy to breathe. I got to move on. I got to scroll. I got to keep going. Just give yourself a moment to pause and breathe. Few of us ever consider how the nostrils of every living person pulse to their own rhythm, opening and closing like a flower in response to our moods, mental states, and perhaps even the sun and the moon. So the moment your mental state changes, your breath changes. But the moment you're conscious, and that's why not everybody, people will tell you to breathe, because the moment you pause and breathe, you just changed your mental state. Are you getting this? Do you care? Does anybody care? It's the simple things. All right. And then I have a couple things that are going to weave together here. This is a poem I wrote like within the past 2 days. I wrote this. Here it is. Judge me harshly. I do not need your validation. My reputation is already shattered, but my feet are firmly planted on the new rock. A deep peace rises, transcending my understanding. The carnage of the past dissolves without any words uttered. I am drinking from the wellspring of liberation. becoming satiated with a freedom I have not tasted prior. My soul is quenching, renewing, and revealing itself more brilliantly with each sip. I really love that poem. Judge me harshly. I do not need your validation. My reputation is already shattered. Think about that. And think about this gentleman who took his own life when Bed Bath & Beyond went down. And I wonder how many other CEOs, CFOs, COOs are living like he was, where they're completely attached to their job and their position. And that's who they are. But it's not who they are. It's what the world thinks they are. And they're working to uphold that reputation. And meanwhile, their soul and their life energy is draining. So go ahead, judge me harshly. I don't need your validation. My reputation is already shattered, but my feet are firmly planted on the new rock. A deep peace rises, transcending my understanding. The carnage of the past dissolves without any words uttered. I am drinking from the wellspring of liberation, becoming satiated with a freedom I have not tasted prior. My soul is quenching, renewing, and revealing itself more brilliantly with each sip. And that is who you really are. And that leads me into the next part. That was my poem, and this is a Rumi poem right here that is going to echo this. It's going to supplement it. This is called Be Your Note. Remember the lips where wind breath originated, and let your note be clear. Wind breath originated. This is amazing how this beautifully ties together. Don't try to end it. Be your note. I'll show you how it's enough. Go up on the roof at night in this city of the soul. Let everyone climb up on their roofs and sing their notes. Sing loud. Be your note. So these poems are juxtaposed. In this one, I'm saying shatter your reputation. You don't need it anymore. And this one is basically saying be your true self. Go up on the roof, the visual of going up on the roof where everybody can see you. Think about you're exposed. You're up on the roof. This is who I really am. You see this? Who cares? You see the power in that. So my name is Austin James Haines. This is Cultivate Conscious Moments. Go over to my YouTube channel at Austin James Haines to learn the full story. And I do want to share this, that yesterday I talked about the eclipse. And I'm going to put that up on my story. So I appreciate you being here. Go to my my TikTok story here, because that's where I promised people that I would share. So I'm going to close out the YouTube and LinkedIn. Thanks for being with me this morning. Remember, burnout is not a badge of honor. It's a dysfunction. Let me read the full quote. That's what we'll end on. And my wish is that, my hope, my intention is that one person gets this. It's all it takes. I don't need thousands or millions of people. I just need one person that this hits and it changes your life or causes you to think differently. Burnout is not a badge of honor. It's a form of dysfunction and a sure sign you're not in alignment with your work or life. Let me just share. I'm going to share this right now. Burnout is not a badge of honor. It's a form of dysfunction that you're not in alignment with your life or your work. Let me see if I can put that up on the screen here. And that's because sometimes we have to disrupt ourselves. We got to interrupt our pattern because we're so used to what we think we know. We just can't help it. The only way you can learn is when you come from a different place, is when you're willing to put down what you think you know. If I was still attached to what I thought I knew, I'd be working in corporate America. I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't even know who I am. I had to be willing to step away from what I thought I knew. So I'm going to put this quote up for our live audience here. You can check that out. So thanks for being here today. Pause and breathe. Let that air flow freely in your nostrils. Let your belly expand. And every time you do it, think about, what is your true identity? Who are you deep down inside? Can you get up on the roof and live that way? Can you allow your reputation to be shattered, or would you not? Would you go down with it like the guy from Bed Bath and Beyond? I say no. I say you got this for a reason. Sit with that reason. Be courageous. You can transcend. You can transcend. Have a great day, everybody.